The Porsche Arena in Stuttgart has hosted nearly every legend tennis has ever produced. But on April 9, 2026, the cameras at Stuttgart Airport weren't waiting for champions. They were waiting for a queen. 20-year-old Alex Eala received direct entry into the main draw of the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix, bypassing qualifiers entirely after Zhang Qinwen withdrew due to injury. Within hours, Philippine media outlets exploded with one unified message: viral arrival in Germany. The crowd was already forming. The chants were already echoing. And what happened next proved something remarkable. Alex Eala doesn't need a trophy to own a tournament. Just 48 hours earlier, she had walked off the court in Linz after falling to Jelena Ostapenko 6-4, 7-5 in the second round. The loss stung. Her ranking sat at number 46. Clay had not been kind to her in 2026. Then the announcement came. Stuttgart. Main draw. Direct entry. WTA 500. Indoor clay. This wasn't a gift. It was a gauntlet. The Stuttgart field read like a who's who of WTA elite. Aryna Sabalenka. Iga Swiatek. Coco Gauff. Elena Rybakina. Players with Grand Slam titles. Players who live inside the top 10. And Alex Eala was walking straight into it, not as a qualifier, but as a main draw player expected to deliver. The opportunity was real. So was the danger. But her Filipino supporters weren't treating this like a lucky break. They were treating it like Coronation Day. The Porsche Tennis Grand Prix made it official on April 9th. Alexandra Eala replaces Zhang Qinwen in the main draw following injury withdrawal. That single announcement ignited a movement. Within hours, Philippine YouTube channels and news outlets flooded social media with arrival coverage. Headlines framed her travel to Stuttgart like a national event. Fans who had just watched her in Austria were already planning trips to Germany. The Pinoy diaspora doesn't wait for permission to claim their hero. Put yourself in the position of a tournament organizer in Stuttgart. You issue a routine injury replacement announcement. By nightfall, your event is trending across Southeast Asia. The Filipino community in Europe is mobilizing like a campaign rally. That's the power Alex Eala carries everywhere she goes. The pattern had already been established. Just 2 days earlier in Linz, after defeating Julia Grabher in the first round, Eala stood on court and delivered a message that went far beyond tennis. Speaking first in English, then switching to Tagalog, she told the crowd.
I'm really happy with how they've welcomed me and welcomed the Filipinos. There are a lot of them.
I think it's amazing. I'm really happy with how they've welcomed me and welcomed the Filipinos. I guess we match really well because there are a lot of them here. So, I'm really thankful for the hospitality. That moment mattered. Her decision to speak in Tagalog. Her acknowledgement of the fans, not as spectators, but as partners, is why the Queen arrival narrative isn't hype. It's recognition of something real. Even her opponent felt it. During the Linz second-round match against Jelena Ostapenko, the Filipino crowd became so vocal that Ostapenko complained to officials mid-match. At one point, she sarcastically invited a heckler to come play for me so I can learn. After the match, she thanked the crowd, with visible frustration. When your fans rattle a former French Open champion, you're not just playing tennis, you're commanding the atmosphere. Now that energy follows Alex Eala to Stuttgart. The Porsche Arena seats over 4,500 fans. Stuttgart also hosts one of the largest Filipino communities in Germany. The math is simple. Alex Eala is about to turn an indoor clay court in southern Germany into Manila. And she's not walking in unprepared. Her coaching team for the European clay swing, with guidance from the Rafa Nadal Academy, has her tactically ready. The loss to Ostapenko was competitive. The win over Julia Grabher was dominant. The clay game is there. The crowd, however, might be her greatest weapon. The tournament itself acknowledged the moment. The Porsche Tennis Grand Prix didn't quietly announce her replacement entry. They promoted it. Fans can now look forward to seeing Alexandra step in. That wording matters. This is one of the most prestigious WTA 500 events on the calendar. Stuttgart doesn't need to promote injury replacements. Yet they chose to frame Eala's entry as something fans should anticipate. That's institutional recognition. She isn't just filling a spot. She's a draw. Stuttgart also marks the beginning of the major European clay swing. Madrid follows. Then Rome. Then French Open at Roland Garros. Every round Eala survives builds momentum, not just for her ranking, but for something bigger. The rise of Filipino tennis. This isn't theoretical. Filipino fans are already planning travel to Madrid. Social media groups are organizing watch parties across the Philippines and Europe. Sponsors are tracking engagement spikes every time she steps on court. The WTA has spent years trying to expand into Asian markets beyond China and Japan. Eala is doing it organically, with talent, with resilience, and with a diaspora that refuses to let her compete alone. Tournament directors across the tour are paying attention, not just because of her ranking, but because of what happens when she shows up. The Lin's loss to Ostapenko was close. Eala led in the second set. She had opportunities at 5-5. She couldn't close. The final score, 6-4, 7-5, reflected tight margins, not domination. But when the match ended, the crowd stood. A standing ovation for the loser. Eala raised her racket, smiled, and walked off calmly. Within 2 days, she posted gratitude for fans and shifted focus to Stuttgart. That response, composed, grateful, forward-looking, explains why Filipino fans treat her like royalty. April 9th, announcement drops. April 10th, Philippine media calls her arrival viral. April 13th, she steps onto the Porsche Arena court with thousands chanting her name. Eala isn't arriving as a replacement. She's arriving as proof that the people's champion doesn't need seeding to command a stage. The belief that Filipino fans carried when she was ranked outside the top 50, when others dismissed her as just a junior champion, is now being validated in real time. The world is catching up. Can Eala ride this wave deep into the Stuttgart draw? Or will players like Aryna Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, or Coco Gauff stop the coronation before it begins? Subscribe now, because you're not just following a player. You're part of a movement. The true believers were here first. And now, the Queen is ready to take the stage. Drop your prediction below. How far does Eala go in Stuttgart? Tennis Fire.